Welcome to Business Over Beer, where entrepreneurs, small business owners, and people passionate about what they do bring us their stories and their favorite beer. Hosted by Ben Surratt, Jonathan Kaler, and Jason Knope, it's time to get down to business and drink some beer.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the second biggest podcast in the Pacific Northwest. That's right, folks. We are still on the heels of those pesky Sasquatch hunters. But good news, breaking news. I heard that they are a little scared after our last live podcast on Friday. So now we are even closer to being on the apex and being reigning supreme in the Pacific Northwest. That's right. This is Business Over Beer. I'm your co-host, Ben Surratt. Alongside me to the left is the man of the hour, the terror of power. Some people call him Space Cowboy. Some people call him Stitches. Some people used to call him Man Bun. Some people call him the King of Euchre. Ooh. But we, of course, know him as Spartacus, Mr. Jonathan Kaler. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Ben Surratt. We are live for the second time in 4 days. Incredible. Ooh. We are at Victor 23. I'm excited that we are drinking their beer. Nay, maybe our beer, which we heard about already once, but we're going to hear more about it today. And I'm just so excited to be at Victor 23. And speaking of skyjackers, we have got the man we affectionately know as that gangsta of Hazeldale. He is the gift that keeps on giving, not the gift that keeps on going. The gift that keeps on giving. I'll fix that in post. Jason Knope, welcome to Business Over Beer, my friend. How you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling fantastic. It was a little bit of a rough landing coming in, hit a few branches, lost my backpack, but other than that, I'm good.
Excellent. Well done, my friend.
So, we're at Victor 23 tonight, and we got Todd Britt with us, the brewmaster here, and we're going to ask him some questions and see what's going on here.
What's up, Todd?
Hey,
welcome to Business
Todd.
Over Beer. How you feeling,
Thank
man?
you. I'm very excited. Although you guys really summed up my whole life here. You guys got these big, elaborate introductions, and it's just comes to, and we got Todd here. It's all right. It's all right.
I didn't want to make you embarrassed or anything. So.
No, we're good, though.
Well,
but
Todd,
thank you very, very much.
Todd, there's a whole process, right? We have a whole nicknaming committee, so it's got to go through the whole process. Got to submit it. He's had one stuck in committee for about 18 months now. We just can't quite get it through committee. So if you have a nickname you want to go in, so
I'll make sure it's submitted through the proper chain.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, in all seriousness, thank you so much for joining us. You have been so generous to us over the last 2 months. We're gonna talk obviously a lot about our experience with you. From the time we met at a tap takeover just a couple months ago. And we've spent a lot of time here. So we're really excited to get going. And we're going to start with your business. So maybe just start the 50,000-foot view of Victor 23 and a little bit about what you do here and kind of what you're into.
Yeah. So I am the brewmaster here at Victor 23. We've been open about 5 years, a little more than 5 years now. Here in the St. John's, Fourth Plains area. I think what's great is we are very much a neighborhood pub sort of feel to this place. So that works out really well. We have a fantastic crew, I'll say, of regulars who come in and help support us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've shown up tonight.
They're here.
Yeah.
Say, hey, guys.
What's up? There we go.
Yeah, now's the time you can talk. Yeah.
They've been loud like all night, and then all of a sudden...
You put them on the spot and boom.
I tell
silence.
That's all right. They're concentrating on their beers.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. And speaking of beer, this is the Business Over Beer podcast. Yeah. Todd, this is the beer portion of the program. We always ask all of our guests to bring a beer to share. I certainly don't have to ask if you have beer in the building. Tell us, what beer have you brought us to share?
So you already corrected yourself. Very much, this is our beer. Since you guys got to come in and brew it with me, business class. It's a hazy pale, 5%. A lot of just that nice tropical character, along with a little bit of citrus to back it up. So got that pineapple, the mango, the papaya characters, with a little bit of that lemon, lime, grapefruit to kind of kick it up a notch. But I think our favorite part about it is that 5% helps you drink a couple more, doesn't knock you out. You can enjoy it for a long time.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
Well, let's
So we
prost
want
to
our
that.
crowd to get some of this. Yeah. See? Whoop,
So
see?
cheers.
Prost, everyone. Prost. So how did we decide on
So good.
a hazy pale ale? I don't remember that conversation. There might be a reason for that, but I don't remember that conversation when we decided on the style. Do you remember how that came about?
Yeah, well, while we're talking about it and we brought it up, I said it's good business to make a pale or to make a hazy. And then I just floated the idea of making a pale so that we were around that 5.5%. So it was this nice session beer, and you guys just really jumped to it. So yeah,
good.
it was that nice balance of interest with business.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, I love this beer. I mean,
Yeah,
this
that's so
is
good.
absolutely my perfect kind of beer. Again, low alcohol, but super flavorful. It's got a lot of the upfront bitterness and that fruit character on the back. I mean, I love the cloudiness of the haze. It delivers for me every single note of a beer that I like. So,
Yeah.
well done.
Yes. What do you think, Knoper?
It's fantastic, guys. What more can you ask for? I mean, like you said, low alcohol means I can drink more of it, and usually I like the pilsners and the kolsch's. So for me, this is it's not too bitter and it's not too hoppy at the front. So I enjoy it. It's good. Thank you.
I mean, he even put his hands all over the hops, and we're still
He did, yeah.
drinking it. That's okay.
Yeah.
though.
I didn't fall into the boiler like you, though.
That's true. That's true. I'm a klutz. What can I tell you? I don't know.
So, Todd, what is up with the beer industry now? What's up? What's new? Anything new?
Oh boy, there's
Yeah.
a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
we can go in so many directions here.
What is the trend right now in this time of
Ooh.
year?
Pacific Northwest hops are always going to be our trend.
Okay.
Pacific Northwest style IPAs are always going to have a place here. Hazies are definitely having their strong place as well. But you're starting to see a small tick up of the lagers coming about.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, you're starting to see a few more. You know, we have our Schaffner Pils on all year round. I try to always keep on a rotating lager here and there because a lot of people don't quite realize how broad that category can be as well.
Mm-hmm.
We do know, ales can be anywhere from the ESBs, milds, to IPAs, to stouts, to then you got your Belgians after that. A lot of people just think of lagers as light, yellowy, fizzy beers.
That's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of those.
No, they have their place though. But you don't realize that even within that, you've got sub styles within the Pilsner category. You've got your box, your Doppelbock, your German styles. You've got these new styles coming about as well with your cold IPA / IPL sort of category, which is it's like that blend of your IPA with your lager. So we're starting to see a trend up, I think, of some of these lagers coming out a little more.
Yeah, I mean, but you're from Chicago originally, right?
Yes.
So the Midwest, this time of year, it's cold. I'm thinking more heavy. Give me some heavy.
Oh my! What I want to see. All right. I have a very big passion for barrel aging beers. Yeah, and you're right. When you're in the Midwest and especially around this time, I think, what'd you say? -10
Yeah, tonight. Yeah,
is the wind chill, and
wind chill. Yeah,
and I didn't even shrug really. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's normal.
yeah.
So those big stouts, like we're talking those 10% really thick stouts, barley wines, double IPAs are a big deal. And especially then you get to make it a little extra special by aging those into any kind of barrel you can really get your hands on. Whiskey's the big one though. Whiskey really helped set that trend going as far as what you age beer into.
Yeah.
So we do have one. Our Sleigh Jacker is a barrel aged beer. It's a strong ale. To give you an idea, it started out at about 8% pre-barrel. Think of it as an imperial brown. So you've got those toasty, sweet, dark fruit flavors. Age it in a rye whiskey barrel for a year, and that adds a new layer. One, it adds at least 1% alcohol, which is always nice. You add that nice floral, spicy note of the alcohol. You add some vanillas, maple syrups, things like that. You can add that nice, then dry, woody tannin character as well. But definitely, those are those beers you get in a fancy little snifter glass, right? You get it, you sit there. I always imagine sitting next to a fire in a leather chair, just sipping out of that slowly throughout the night.
Your smoke jacket.
Yeah.
What's so appealing about that kind of brewing that kind of beer as a brewer? Because you even said that you really enjoy that brewing that kind of beer.
Yeah.
So what is it about that style or barrel aging that's so appealing for you?
Ooh, probably going all out. It's weird because as I just said that, I'd say most of the year then I'm on the other spectrum. I'm that lager drinker or that English mild, English ESB. I always get excited about 4% beers. But this is that time to just throw caution to the wind and say, screw it. Let's see what we can do. How high can we get this thing? How much can we pack into it? Let's push those boundaries. Yeah.
So are you pushing the boundaries of the ABV? Are you trying to push boundaries of flavor? Are you trying to push boundaries just wherever you can push?
Wherever. Yeah, I'd say it all depends, I guess. I do like to stay close or as true to the style of the beer as possible. So with something like our strong ale or say like an imperial stout, those do well, in my mind, with your whiskeys. There's a connection in that they're both fermented barleys, so they have this connection in flavors and in concepts. So doing that and then seeing how you can develop new flavors with these very common ingredients is always fun. So sometimes it's how can we pair two things that you didn't think about together and get something new. Sometimes it is, I definitely do have those times where I'm like, ooh, this style doesn't have an upper limit of alcohol. Let's push it. Yeah, let's go double digits. Let's go 12, 14%. Yeah.
It's got to be fun there's got to be an unpredictability to it too. And as a creative, which I assume you're a bit of a creative person, there's got to be some fun in that sort of unpredictability. Like once it goes in the barrel, it could go maybe in some directions that you're not expecting it to. And so as you try it year after year, as it becomes a little bit different, there's got to be some fun in that too. I would think.
Absolutely. Yeah. So traditionally I'd say whiskey barrels add a nice, like a vanilla character. That's a very common flavor profile you hear from whiskey distillers as well as just barrel aged in whiskey beers. I got a good relationship with Rose City Distillery down in the Tualatin, Portland area. I'd worked with him before, and I love the barrels he gets. And the fun twist of that was that I didn't get as much vanilla, but I got a lot more maple syrup character out of it. So that to me was the cool thing of like going in thinking you're going to get one thing, but then suddenly being surprised with how it takes or how it goes, and changes throughout the year.
Yeah.
With the wood or the liquor inside of it. Yeah.
Well, they got a shelf life too, right? Unlike an IPA or something like that you've got to turn. These things can sit and age and
Oh yeah. That's part of going into it. So if I am making a barrel aged beer, one of those things is it's going to be high ABV because it's going to sit in there for about a year. So you want something that alcohol helps preserve it. And then two, you want something where the flavors will age as well. So IPAs don't age well because what we like about them is the hop character. But unfortunately, that flavor and character falls off and kind of just diminishes over time, but doesn't add something new behind it. Yeah. Malt characters are the opposite, whereas we'll say like an imperial stout, that generally very roasty character, as that might die down, you're going to get those nuances of the caramels, toffees, chocolates, raisin, prune, fig, is it chicory, all these newer flavors coming out that will then evolve into it.
Nice.
So that is something to think about you're not going to see, from me at least, not many IPAs or lagers going into these barrels because of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
You've been brewing beer for how long now?
Just over 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
In that time, has technology changed for brewers? I mean, and has it changed a lot? Do you embrace the technology, or is it kind of, I'm just brewing beer, whatever I want, I'll get?
Yeah, you can go with that route. Yeah, you can definitely do it. I mean, it hasn't changed in hundreds of years as far as the real nitty gritty stuff. I still soak grain in water. I then strain it out, put it into another tank, boil it, add my hops, transfer that to another tank while cooling it down, add yeast. Nothing's changed in the history of beer, really.
In that process.
Yeah. There are small elements to it. Like there are advances in each element of it, I guess, of understanding how to make that first step more efficient, or the advancement of our raw ingredients. Hops especially have seen a huge boom of just technology change, I guess, in that of, back in the day, it was whole hops. You pick it off the vine, like you would an apple. You throw it in, you boil it.
Don't eat it like an apple.
Yeah, no, don't do that. I think, did you guys try and do that while you were here? I advise you not to. I don't know. I don't think any of you.
I don't know. Maybe after all those barrel-aged beers you gave us, anything's possible.
But for the longest time, we use pellet hops, which you take it, you grind it up, you pack it into little green pellets, and that's very efficient and very useful. But what you're now seeing is they're able to extract a lot more vegetal matter and leaving the oils, which are the key, really essential thing that I want. They're extracting all of that, so now I'm using just like a what do they call it? A CO2 extract. So it's a pure oily liquid that I can pour in. But what I know I'm doing is I'm pouring just the oils into it. They have powders now, and they have so many different things where they're even separating the compounds. So between alpha and beta acids, you can start buying those. So yeah. So generally alpha acids are what give us bitterness.
Okay.
Chemical reactions happen throughout the boil and through the brewing process that's what causes bitterness. That's what adds to IBUs. That's what we're tasting with that nice crisp bitterness. Beta acids are the ones that add more of the aromatic and flavor compounds. So it's, with anything in beer, it's that balance between getting enough bitterness to give that balance to the sweetness we added, but getting the nice, interesting, unique flavors, the tropical fruits, the citrus of the beta. And we're now starting, I've seen some suppliers have been able to separate those two and supply those. So that's a huge thing. And now, as I say that, you're starting to see a resurgence of new malt new malt supplies and, artisan, smaller maltsters coming out and providing, their own unique twist on it.
Well, that's crazy. So you can like pick what kind of beer you want, like in what kind of, I want it more floral.
Yeah.
I'll get more beta.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I want it more bitter. I want more of the punch.
Yeah. So normally we always had to say, they tell us, oh, this has a 15 alpha acid level. And you kind of, based on that, or based on if you want more or less, you kind of had to go with that. It's now new that you can just be like, oh, sweet. This is just betas. I'll try that. Yeah, let's toss
Alpha
one
beta.
of those in there. Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
I learned something. See, you're drinking and you're learning.
Yeah.
The biz over beer.
There you go. So how'd you get started brewing? Like, what was your first brewing gig? You said you were from Chicago.
Yeah.
So how did you actually get into this line of work in the first place?
I got interested. I always like to say it's my dad's fault. that I got into brewing. Only because he is a very rational man. He, how can you provide for yourself with your job? So it was a little scary for him when his son came to say, "Hey, Dad, I want to make beer for a living." He was just like, "Oh boy." But what he also taught me was the joy of creating stuff.
I hope my son one day comes and says, "I want to make beer for a living." Then I will know I succeeded as a father.
Absolutely.
No, but he taught me how to enjoy making things. So we always did woodworking crafts and things like that. It was always a joy to try and do something first by ourselves and fix something or create something before we would have to buy it. So I love the idea of taking just lumber, turning it into a desk or turning it into a table or something like that. So that's where that love really came, of creating something out of kind of nothing or out of random things. I just happened to try somebody's homebrew, and it dawned on me that the feds aren't going to bust down your door for doing it. No, it was because I was like, I thought this was illegal. And it's like, no, I'm going to try it. Like, I already like doing that stuff. So I cooked up a batch in the kitchen and, my parents' kitchen, and, the love for it stuck with that. From there, though, it was, I went around to just some local breweries and just kind of asked the brewers, what's this job like? I just got out of college. I've got a lot of debt. Before I throw even more on top to be a brewer, like, is this like worth it, essentially? And one of them, he was honest. He's like, it's not fun. You get some beer at the end of the day, and if you like it, but you're gonna sweat your ass off one day, and then brewing the beer, you're gonna freeze your ass off the next day being in the cooler all day. If you can handle that, and if you like it, it's the job for you. And he let me shadow him, a couple days. That turned into a once a week thing that eventually led me to Goose Island as an actual paying gig, which was my first like real out of college job, which is weird to say that. This is all I know of the real world is making beer.
Well, and that Goose Island connection, that's why, because you told us that story when we first met. We were you guys were doing a tap takeover at our good friend at Kevin's place up there at Tap's Growler House, and you told us that story, and we're like, you worked at Goose Island, because I'm a Midwest guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, you used to brew Honker's Ale, which was one of my all-time favorite beers. So I remember you telling us that story. I was like, holy cow, this guy used to brew Honker's Ale. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. That I learned a lot in those 2 years that I was at their brew pubs.
And remind us, so they got bought by AB InBev,
yes.
Right? So were you there during that period, or?
Yes, I was there. It was a multi-step process. I was there a year before anything happened. Halfway through, they bought into the production, or they bought the production company. I was the brew pubs, and part of the deal, as I understand it, was we were still independent. And under original ownership as the pubs.
Oh, gotcha.
And AB InBev had the production plant. I worked there an extra year before I had moved on to other stuff, but since then, I believe AB InBev has bought the pub as well.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. So how'd you end up in the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah. Enough of this Midwest stuff.
No, I'm sorry, Canope. Yeah, I know you're feeling a little left out.
From Goose Island, I found myself with Rock Bottom, which coincidentally was one of the places I interviewed and let me shadow. So he led me to Goose Island, which led me back to Rock Bottom. I did about 2.5 years in one of the suburbs of Warrenville. At the 2.5 year mark, there was an opening here in downtown Portland. They offered that up. I was like, hey, you pay to move me out here? Yeah, that sounds like a great deal. So it was this nice next step for me, because it was a bit more of it was a step up as far as production and demand and things like that. So I jumped at that opportunity. They moved us out here. 5 years then with Rock Bottom in downtown Portland. But yeah, that was it. It was fortunate that the time came, or the opening came at a good time for me to make the jump.
Rock Bottom was craft beer before there was ever craft
Dude,
beer.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
remember
they
that.
were.
That's an
I remember
institution right
that.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in Cincinnati, it was like there was no craft beer, but there was Rock Bottom. The term craft beer didn't even exist, I don't think. But
No.
so,
it started a lot. It started a lot of the early trends, and a lot of well-known brewers and new breweries came about as former Rock Bottom brewers.
yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it definitely helped kind of set the stage for what is happening now.
Did you have any? The beer culture here, I believe, is the best anywhere in the world, in my opinion. And I'm not kidding. Like, I love the beer here in the Pacific Northwest.
We could use a little more barrel-aged beer.
I agree, but we have you now here, right?
Yeah, I'm working at it.
Did you have any? Was there any reputation, or did you have any like I'm moving to the Pacific Northwest, this Vancouver, like the hops are the best here. Like, did you have any?
Oh yeah, there was that, because I mean, Portland's known as
Yeah,
craft beer like capital of the world.
Yeah,
So that was on my mind moving out here. That was a little daunting.
and did you think that the culture was like what you thought it was, like it is here? Did you have any?
It was a little tough to adjust still.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would say, because for that story is the first beer I ever brewed here in Portland. I come in and obviously it's like, oh no, Portland loves hops. Like, just make a hoppy beer, you'll be set. And I look at the menu and I was like, well, we got like 3 or 4 Northwest style IPAs. I'm going to do an English IPA. Portland loves IPAs. They're obviously going to love this. And an English IPA has a bit more malt character to it. Well, comparatively a lot more. And the hops aren't generally citrus or tropical fruits. They're more earthy, more herbal, more tea-like. But I thought I was adding something good to the menu, like a difference to the menu. Put it on. I loved it. Excited. Just looked at it, just sit there. Just didn't move. Just nobody drank it. I was like, oh, okay. I got some things to learn while I'm here. So that's when I was like, all right, so Northwest style IPA is the way to go. And it's now to the point where I go home, and if I drink something that's not of a Northwest style, I'm like, what is this?
yeah.
What is this weird thing
Yeah.
I taste? Is this malt? Is this crystal malt in this?
Yeah.
No. Get that out of there. So it definitely, there's a learning curve for me, or some time to adjust and get used to it.
Yeah.
Is that a hindrance to our beer culture? Do you think that there's a lack of like open-mindedness towards other styles of beer broadly? I mean, there's certainly pockets of people who are like, I love the lagers and I love ESBs and I would love an English pale ale. I think that would be awesome. But do you feel that hinders our culture because we're so tagged as the hop capital?
Yeah. For my taste, we could always have a little more. It's getting there though. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed since you moved out here, more and more Midwesterners are moving out here, getting away from the winters. You're getting a new group of people coming out here with their own taste, so you're starting to see a little bit more. I think it's good because it does push, what we understand of hops. Early on it was all about IBUs and let's get to 100 IBUs and bitter. Now we're actually looking at the flavor compounds and the aromas and how can we get depth of character to it, which is okay, or which is good. And you're slowly but surely seeing that uptick. Like I said, lagers are starting to gain traction. You've got a small traction with your sours, especially during the summertime. As I look, I see a few more milds and ESBs come out with a lot of breweries. So it's just got to hold on. It'll happen.
Yeah.
It's slowly happening. People are looking for something new. So
I mean, you're a lager guy. Knoper, you're a lager guy. Or Pilsner. You like Pilsner?
Pilsners and Kolsch's.
Yeah. You like the pale ale. I'm a red guy. I like the maltier beer. You're a barrel aged.
yeah.
So there's a variety. It's just like where there's so many like in between and few in between that it's like, now what? Gee, excuse me. Water. Now what? Like now, what's the next big thing besides hazies?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I know.
Because you do still have your dessert beers or your like adjunct beers. So it's adding the fruits and I don't want to say flavorings. I don't want to get the idea that it's all fake flavorings or artificial flavorings, but non-traditional flavors into your beers.
Yeah.
It still has a pretty dominant stage. I don't know if there's going to be a new style. It might just be, like I said, you start to see this resurgence of perhaps it is the milds and the ESBs. They might, I don't think anything is ever going to get to the IPA level. Like that's a once in a lifetime sort of thing. So like it might not, but it'll start to creep up. And as that does, it'll remind us all to look at other things. And all of a sudden now, hey, we forgot about Belgian beers. Like that's a whole nother world.
Yeah, you're right. 100%.
So you have that. So I think we might start to see that, whereas just things, they don't blow up like we're thinking, but they'll creep up. Yeah, and they'll just get their footing in the market.
Well, and I'm hoping that the hazy IPA craze, and I love hazies. I have nothing bad to say about hazies, but I think that has opened up a lot of palates to IPAs, if you will. People have kind of come over to the bitterness and understanding that and adding those flavors and concentrating on the flavor profiles versus just blowing out your palate with hop. I'm hoping that that's a trend that continues, that we can see into some different styles. So.
Oh yeah, I would say that's one of the positive things, because like I said, the IBU race from what was that 10? Oh boy, I got to think of what year it is. I was like, ooh, that's like 10, 15 years ago, when we're trying to hit 100 IBUs and max out, put as much alpha in there as possible. It scared a lot of people away. So like if I'm coming to you and I'm like, ooh, try this, I want to get you into IPAs. That didn't help, because you're like, it's just aggressive, right?
Yeah, I mean, I immediately think of every time I walk into a brew pub that all they have is IPAs. And that's my first thought is, this is going to be way overpowering. What's the deal here?
Oh, yeah. And it doesn't help that if I'm this big hop head, I want to give you the thing I think is best, which is to you just an offensive mess of, right? Like, I appreciate, I can get past that, or I can find the nuance within it. But for you, it's aggressive. And it's just overpowering. That's where the hazies come in and these pales come in, because it's, let's take hops and just scale them back a little bit. Yeah. Let's show you what makes it great.
Yep.
And I, even with Schaffner Pils or a German Pilsner style, I always tell people that's a hoppy beer. What you're tasting are hops on that beer. Yeah. It just so happens that we have zero malt to cover it up. So it's all comes down to this balance aspect of, we just have very little malt character to it, very little yeast character, being a lager, so it's very clean and crisp. So any bit of hops we add to it is going to shine through. So how we play with those hops, which hops we use, can really get you excited then. So like if I do, this nice clean crisp lager with some nice American or New Zealand hops, and you can be like, oh, that's what hops are? Okay, now I got you open to the idea of trying a pale ale. Yeah. And then maybe but the hazies help do that. It's like, here's the interesting, the flavorful aromatics of the hops. Yeah. That style definitely helps showcase.
Well, Todd, I have loved sitting here talking about beer.
All right.
We're going to get a little more into Victor 23. I want to learn more about your business and kind of your role inside of the business. But before we get there, Ben, you look a little thirsty.
Kaler, I just finished my beer, or I'm really close. And I am thirsty.
I knew it.
Todd.
Yeah?
This is the part of the show where typically my lovely wife Angela picks us out a mystery beer. We call that segment Angie's Mystery Beer.
Very simple.
But since she's not here and we're at Victor 23, we had a vote and we decided it's gonna be Todd's mystery beer. Do you have a mystery beer?
I've got a mystery beer for you.
Yes. Hashtag winning.
All right. Yeah, you want me to go get it for you?
Yes, let's do it.
All right.
rid of it quickly.
Uh-oh. This is trouble.
Uh-oh.
Here comes trouble.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Angie would be proud.
Yeah. All right.
You've done Angie's mystery beer very proud.
So actually, we have enough to share with the crowd as well.
Oh,
So
yay!
you guys, y'all are gonna get to try some of this.
Look at that.
All right. So
Roast.
Roast. Holy. Woo.
Oh, man.
It's not very boozy up front.
Oh, I'm
It's not-
sorry.
It's not boozy. It's really tart.
Yeah.
Raisiny.
Yeah, it is raisiny. It is very raisiny. It's sweet but tart.
Not overly boozy. No.
No, it's not.
No.
Which is scary. The flavors are really nice, but yeah, it's got this kind of like raisin,
Maple.
maple. Yeah, the maple. That's good.
you were listening, weren't you?
Yeah. Oh, is he cheating?
Oh,
Did he
Kenobi's
cheat?
cheating
Did he
again.
cheat?
I am not
I think he
cheating.
did.
Again.
No.
Cheating
I
again.
can taste
Did
it.
you see the cap? You saw the cap, didn't you? I
There's-
knew it. He
Hey,
cheated.
There's nothing on the cap. Remember?
Yeah. This is
Oh,
truly
boy.
mystery because
Yes.
I'm about
Todd doesn't know what it
10%
is.
guessing.
Todd's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I had to do a tasting before this to be like,
Joke's on them. I don't know
yeah,
what the
all
hell
right,
it is.
this is it. Yeah.
All right. I have no guess. I mean, it's a. All right, I do have a guess. It's a barrel-aged
Barrel-aged.
Belgian quad. That's my guess. Or is it a double? Maybe it's a double. No, I don't.
It's so good, Todd. Todd is.
I made, see what I did there? I made him.
It
Made him
doesn't
go out his
remember
nose.
being this strong. when
No.
you did
Did
it.
you get that? All right, yeah, woo. yeah, we got that one.
Yeah, chase it with some beer. You're good.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Barrel-aged bourbon something. With raisins. That's my guess.
All right.
That's my best guess.
I'll do barrel-aged with raisins and maple. And syrup.
It's the
It's
long.
copying me.
It's the
Oh,
it's
and
the
now
long.
Copying me is
the
what
long-
you're doing, Ben.
Well, you cheated already.
I didn't cheat. I'm
If
sitting
you're gonna
right
say,
here.
if the beer is a something, if you're being very broad with that, what kind of barrel? Can you guess the barrel?
Okay. Rye.
All right.
I'll say rye. Tamara, no
Bourbon.
All right.
Oh, bourbon.
I mean, I gotta believe it's bourbon, just because that's what most barrels are. But I don't get a lot of bourbon. I don't
Yeah.
really like bourbon. So if it was bourbon, I would expect to taste it. But
Can
it's
we open
mellow.
up to the crowd?
Sure.
Other than you guys, since
Of
you know?
course, yeah. What do you guys
Any
think?
thoughts on everybody else?
Oh,
no,
Lori got it. I think yes. I think you're right.
What'd she say?
It's a wine.
Is it a wine barrel?
No. No.
No.
But if you're interested, I got a beer for you later. No. Scotch. Ooh, close. It is a whiskey. It is a single malt whiskey. Again, from Portland Distillery. Nobody guessed on the beer?
Nope.
No ideas?
Big reveal time.
Now, I tricked you on this one from earlier, so I was misleading you. This is a Doppelbock in whiskeys.
Oh,
So Doppelbock
jeez.
is actually a lager.
Wow.
That's
For
the
this,
color.
it's a very strong lager. It's a very malt forward lager. The beer itself is 8.5% before the barrel. So again, those characteristics, that beer itself is what brought on those very port-like characteristics to it. So that's where you got a lot of those fruit flavors, was from that Doppelbock character. Let me think. This has been in bottle for 2 years now. So that what helps is that whiskey burn or that booziness has been able to kind of subdue over age to allow some of those lighter characters. But like you said, that maple kind of comes through a little bit nicely, adds a little bit of sweetness to it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
What is Victor 23? Where does that name come from?
Oh, so that is the flight plan that DB Cooper hijacked. So the flight from Portland to Seattle is known as Victor 23.
What's your vector, Victor?
There you go. How's the rest go?
It's a clearance, Clarence.
What's the clearance?
Roger.
Yeah, Roger.
Was under over.
He was
Over. Roger.
Under, done.
Roger. Huh?
So that's where that came from, and with that, we stick with either aviation themed or sort of the DB Cooper specific / conspiracy theme to everything that we do. But Victor 23 is the flight plan that he hijacked. The Northwest Orient is the specific plane that he hijacked.
So where did that theme come from for the brewery? Like, how did that all come about?
That is our owner Brian is an avid flyer. He flies his own planes. So he has that interest, and then also wanting to be able to connect locally with the community. This is something that it's very Pacific Northwest, outside of understanding the beer scene of Portland or the idea of it. I didn't know who DB Cooper was. Like, that was probably the only other thing I knew about Portland in this area was, hey, there's this guy DB Cooper who, hijacked a plane and got away with a bunch of money. So it is something that is very concrete within this area in this community, and considering how he possibly jumped out, no more than 40 miles or something from here is one of the possible jump sites that he had. That is one of the things. So he wanted to connect his joy of flying with just locality and being part of the community.
That's awesome. And so how did you end up from rock bottom then up here to this gig?
So when rock bottom closed its doors, I was sitting there just looking for another job. And I happened to get a phone call before I was able to even log in and look. And it was Bolt Minister, my buddy over. He's the owner brewmaster of 5440. And he called me up and he's like, hey, I know a guy. He's a good guy. He's looking for a brewer. I think you guys would be a good match. And as he's saying that, I'm logging in and I saw the post for this and I quickly applied. Brian and I talked, we hit it off. We vibed well. And through the interview process, he hired me.
I mean, like, do you have to brew a beer? Like, I'm just curious, like, you can't really brew a beer.
Right.
Right. When you're applying or interviewing.
Right.
So what is that process like? You just give them ideas of what you would do?
I mean, one, it's, just like any other job, it's a resume. So I handed him a resume and a cover letter. It's a job, like not other. So I took it as serious as a job, saying, here are my credentials. Felt those, help speak for themselves, for what I can do. From there, it was definitely him and I talking and seeing, do we match well together? And, does that work out? Is my ideas for a brewery in line with his vision of what he wants his company to be? So it is definitely that. It is a mesh of personalities as well.
Yeah.
Because I'll say, especially for a team like us, we are a very small team, so it's important that we do work together, and we work well together, I should say, on that. So it's definitely a testament to us as a group that we work out so well, because that is very important, that you just personally work out well together as well as professionally work out well together.
100%.
One of the things you told us was that you let demand lead supply in your business. Yeah. And I really liked that idea. I mean, we talk obviously a lot about supply and demand. We're small business owners. We're trying to create demand for our products and services in the marketplace. And it was an interesting way of kind of framing letting demand lead supply. Can you talk a little bit about that idea and how you do that in your business?
Oh, yeah. I track everything I possibly can. So I can tell you that Skyjacker is 35% of, what people drink here. Hazy IPAs and hazy pales are 15%. Schaffner Pils is 9%, while other lagers are another 6%. So I know what people, I look at that as far as what people want to drink. As far as pushing new styles or trying new things, barrel aging, again, is to me that big thing. It's not as big as I want it to be. I was fortunate enough in past to do a lot of barrel aging. I had instilled a program where I released a new barrel aged beer every month throughout the year. So there was 25 plus barrels in my brewery that I was constantly rotating. I knew that's something I want to do here, but it's not something I can feasibly do right now. So it's starting small. It's knowing that, okay, let me just brew one barrel aged beer, Sleigh Jacker. Let me make sure I get it right. Let me get it out to everybody. Let them trust me in making it and knowing what it is. The next year, I'll add a couple more barrels. The next year after that, I'm introducing a variant on that with Sleigh Jacker and then the Sugar Plum Fairy Ale. So I'm slowly growing, so I'm not just sitting on all this product that I know is good. Other people are, some people are telling me it's good, but not enough people are telling me it's good to really sell out. So it's just make enough to sell right now.
So was that kind of a mindset shift for you coming from a huge organization like Rock Bottom? And I don't know how their business operates, whether the individual brew pubs in Portland are like their own entities or if they've got large corporate support. But Rock Bottom was a big company.
Oh yeah.
So was that a mindset shift for you coming from that sort of environment into what's really a small local business and having to run it like a small local business?
No, I would say that helped me. Definitely. They're, having the large corporate support helped because they had the ability to get us to focus on what we needed to do. They gave me, at the time, they gave me complete freedom to do whatever I wanted. So the fact that I had 25, barrels filled with 12 different beers, was purely my choice. They weren't pushing me to do it. They encouraged it. If that's what you like to do, do it. If if another brewer prefers to just do all these, a lot of hops, or another one likes to do all lagers, they allowed the brewers to do that. But they still always had that business aspect to it. So, cost of goods is something that got drilled into me, and it's still something I look at constantly. So they helped instill that in me that I then can bring here, so that I'm not just saying, screw it, I'm just going to throw all this into the beer because it's going to make it good, but it's, 10 times more expensive than any beer should ever be. But me being like, hey, that's the craft, that's the art of it, deal with it. No, it's important that I balance that with, hey man, somebody's got to buy it. Doesn't matter if it's the best beer in the world. If I can't get you guys to drink it, it doesn't matter what I think of the beer. So they definitely help balance that out of, making sure you're brewing for your location as well. So yeah. So while I do have influence in doing that, I do listen to the people that come in and, all right, you like a certain style of beer, I'll make sure to brew that style of beer. If I try something a little different with our Skyjacker IPA and it doesn't take well, or it does, I'll adjust accordingly to that as well.
Yeah. It's like, it's almost like I love the correlation between the small business owner and the craft beer industry, because you can take what you've learned from your 9 to 5 corporate, and you can apply some of that stuff to your new business, but you have the freedom to be a little bit more experimental, right? You can try new things. You have a better chance of really sitting down with your clients and your customers and saying, what do you need? What are you looking for? What would you like to see? So, like, I hear what you're saying, and I think you made the right choice coming here for sure. But the fact that you're willing to take those chances with your beer, it really shows with not just what you've done with us, but what you've been doing before and what you're talking about today. So kudos, bro.
Thank you.
For real.
Todd, man, you are just you're our guy, man. You have been so nice to us, so generous with us. We appreciate you taking the time to brew beer with us, to be open, to letting us do our first legit collab. It was so much fun. It was to be able to do it.
It was great for me too. I loved working with you guys.
Good.
No.
Man, thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate
Ben
it.
and I, anyway, right?
Yes, yeah. I was a little worried whenever you had something in your hands and you were doing something.
I get that. I get that. My wife can attest to that too, so it's fine. But yeah, we're gonna leave it there for tonight. But before we go, Ben,
I was like, wait, what?
it's time.
Is it time already?
God, I know, man. I went fast tonight.
All right.
Talking beer, man. I mean, does it get any better talking beer with a guy who brews beer every day?
Dude, I have so many more questions. But, Todd, unfortunately, it's time for the final question. Are you ready?
I don't think so.
Good.
You guys got me all calm. You knew I was worried beforehand. Now I'm freaking out again.
No, you'll be fine.
I was like, was this on the list? Did you guys send me?
You'll be
No,
fine.
no, no.
All right.
You'll be fine.
That's why it's the final question.
I told him to go easy.
All right.
You'll
Thank
be
you.
fine.
See, I knew this is my table.
exactly.
You got me.
Well, it's also known as Angie's mystery question, but
Okay.
we kind of scrapped that and went with the beer. So anyway,
All
go ahead.
Yeah. Good point. So, Todd, you were on the Northwest Orient, and you didn't have time to get your own parachute ready. So, who do you trust? Who's the one person you love to get your parachute ready? Go.
Who's the person I trusted?
Get your parachute ready.
I'm trying to think, is there a trick question in this?
No.
It seems very easy.
No, you could. Okay, who is it?
I'd say it's Kristen.
I was gonna say.
It's my partner. Yeah. I was like, wait, is there?
Here we go.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's why I paused so long. I was like, this
Nope.
seems way too easy for a final question.
Start sweating.
I was like,
She's back there saying, "You damn well better say
Yeah.
me."
Yeah, I was gonna say. Perfect.
all right.
Okay, there you go.
Yes.
Oh, and she would. Of course
Well,
she would.
Yep.
if it works, that's a different
Yeah.
question. I mean,
Yeah.
Then we're going down
Yeah.
together.
Well, if it
Here
doesn't-
you go.
I
I'll
was
keep
gonna
the
say, if it
backpack.
doesn't work, nobody's gonna know about it. I'm not gonna be mad for long. So.
Well, we'll call the owner here and we'll name a beer after you.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go.
Todd, man, thank you so much. This was awesome. You were awesome. We're huge fans. We are customers for life. People want to find out more about Todd Britt and Victor 23. Where would you like people to go?
Head on over to victor23.com or Instagram, Victor23. Other than that, I have my own just personal at Britt's Brews Instagram. Right? Is that how you say it?
That's perfect. Yep.
Yeah. I'm real tech savvy, aren't I?
I can tell. I can tell. Well, hey, everything that we talked about tonight, including Todd's and Victor 23's contact information, will be in the show notes and the blog post for this episode. Please go check that out now.
Canope,
Yeah.
if people want to find business over beer, where do they go?
They go to bizoverbeer.com, bizoverbeer.com. You can find our episodes. You can find our fantastic blog there, social media handles, any events, everything you need to know about business over beer. bizoverbeer.com.
Todd, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. You're wonderful people.
thank you,
You're
guys.
Thank you guys.
It was awesome, you guys. Appreciate it.
Don't forget about our people.
Thank you to all of our people.
I should marry that girl.
Thank you to those listening. For those watching, I'm so sorry. Kayla, Canope, love you guys. See you all later.
Good night. Business Over Beer is reimagining small business networking, and we're helping business owners be better business owners. Through our Passages to Success program, we're offering live monthly events, one-on-one mentoring, accountability groups, and helping you refine and tell your story. For more information, visit bizoverbeer.com. That's bizoverbeer.com/passages to success. Business Over Beer reminds you to always drink responsibly. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Business Over Beer, a TH3 Entertainment production.